Welcome to our fishing report. The weather's still been a little bit on the dodgy side, but the great thing is lots and lots more rain, which means more water in the rivers, bigger rests for the fish, and hopefully it's all going to get good. But just on the whole idea of the weather, I want to show you a couple of the tools that we use here in order to get very accurate weather forecasts. You know, it's nothing worse than driving all the way to some distant location only to find that everything in the weather is against you. So accurate weather forecasting is really important. One of our favourite sites actually comes out of Norway, and it's called yr.no. In this particular case, we've got the weather for Twisel up because I might consider to go down there just for a bit of a fish. And it's got such things as hour by hour the changes that are likely to be in terms of cloud cover, wind, and all the important things that we have to contend with when we're out there on the fishing scale. So make sure you choose whatever it is you need. You can select all sorts of weird and wonderful places. Like, for example, you can go Lake Coleridge and it will give you Lake Coleridge. It gets you all those little microclimates so that you get a more accurate picture of what's going to be going on. And it's amazing that even going from Tekapo to Twisel, which is a very short distance, it gives you quite a different reading because, of course, they're at different elevations and they're exposed to different winds. A very useful tool, yr.no. Well worth putting into your registry of important things. Well, we've heard some pretty good stories about salmon, and that's because they're in the river right now. It's surprising how tight-lipped people are about them. But you know, I know that there's been fish caught in the Rakaia when the conditions were correct, but of course, just up a wee bit at the moment. Wait till it clears. They should be right through the whole river system simply because it's been up for that long. Other rivers like the Rangitata should also have them in there. I wouldn't be surprised to see a few sniffing around the Huranui as well. I know that there's been a fish at least caught into the Waimak around about the Macintoshes area, but again, been quite high in there. Well, the canals, they still roll on. And you know, it's surprising how few people fish this time of year. Not only does it look really good with the scenery, warmer days, and longer days to fish. Just don't go down in the middle of the day. It's surprising it can get quite flat just simply because it gets too warm. So I like to fish more into the evening or into the morning. You get your best results out of that. Eggs are still working well, but you can take down your soft baits and make sure that you've also got a handy array of hard baits as well, just in case the things aren't flowing. The faster it flows, the better it goes. Well, surf fishing's been pretty good as well, and that's because it's the time of year where you get a lot of elephant fish and rig around the coast. And just on the whole basis of surf fishing, I've got another favourite website to give you, and this one's called Swell Map. So I'll just bring up Swell Map here. I've selected here for the Huranui river mouth, the place that I enjoy fishing, and the Swell Map gives you things like the height of the sea, when it's expected to be up, when it's expected to be down, the quality of the wave, the distances they are apart, and how they're going to dump, the direction of the wind, and a whole pile of other things. So if you're looking down the week and you might only have one day that you can go, you can then pick where it's going to be at its lowest, because you don't want to have a big sea. And you can also pick when it's going to be most pleasant for you to be there. No point in picking the wrong day. So Swell Map, put it into your list of important websites. You'll be surprised how useful it is when it comes to the height of summer and the height of the salmon season. I'm in there all the time. Also very, very useful if you're going down to do your surf fishing. Again, you don't want to be fighting a high surf. You want to know which are the best times, and you want to make sure that you know when there's going to be high tide and it coincides with an evening or a morning where you often get better fishing times. Well, I'm hearing that there's a few kingies just starting to show up at the top of the South Island. Unfortunately, we've had a few southerlies through in the local area right here in Christchurch, and when you go to the water temperature, not looking so good. However, there's a website that helps us. I tell you, modern technology is really going against the fish. Let me show you. This is a sea surface temperature chart. Now, I've got up here a sea surface temperature chart which shows right into the top of north of the South Island around Collingwood, because I love catching kingfish on fly. So I'm always looking for those critical temperatures. Once you get over about 17 degrees on water temperature, the kingies will be in and they will stay. Well, I'm just looking at what it says here, and it's telling me that it's 17.1 degrees right there in the midst of that Golden Bay area. I tell you what, I'm now looking for an opportunity when the weather comes together, the stars all align, and we're going to be out there catching those early kingies. There's nothing like it because there's not so many people there. Go in February, lots more people to contend with. Go now, gee, you can have a great time. And just incidentally on that whole thing of water temperature, because remember, we need to get to those critical temperatures of between 16.5, 17 degrees. Around our local area here in Pegasus Bay, just north of the peninsula, we don't have it very warm. It's just sitting around about 14.5, 15 degrees. Not quite warm enough yet. Keep an eye on it though. All we need is a few northerly winds that'll bring down that warm water and we'll be in. Trout fishing, this is the peak. I love getting out there before Christmas. You know what happens at Christmas Day, especially on Boxing Day? Well, on Boxing Day, everyone comes in and shops because they're looking for a bargain. But you know, on Boxing Day, traditionally everyone evacuates the towns and goes to all those wonderful backcountry spots that are right around the countryside. And when they get there, they're going to fish. And that means that if you turn up and there's a whole lot of people there, it's just that bit harder. But if you've got a fantastic job, or you can get away before Christmas, you'll find your spots are far more deserted and the fish have been rested. And I tell you what, it's a great time to get out there. So if you have an opportunity, go fish the lakes. The rivers are still reasonably high. That's given them good protection, but once you see a bit of clear weather and the temperature's getting up, get out there, you'll absolutely have a ball. Right, so remember, today, check those websites. I'm going to give you more websites in future talks so that you've got a real arsenal of tools, the sort of thing that we use in order to get good decisions and make sure you make your precious time count for you. Come and see us. Remember, we're at 484 Cranford Street in Christchurch, or online, we're at completeangler.co.nz. See ya.